If we pull back a little bit, what does this mean in the context of the workplace today, the future of work, the shift to hybrid that we've seen in the post-pandemic context? First of all, for the first time in history, there's 5 generations coming together at work. Of course, we have Gen Z. Those are folks born after 1997. They say you're a part of Gen Z if you do not remember September 11th. The oldest members of Gen Z are just joining the workforce right now. Some people call them iGen or the smartphone generation. This is a generation that does not know a world without smartphones. Millennials, so I'm an elder millennial. I turned 40 this year. Some people call us geriatric millennials. Some people call us the Oregon Trail. That's what I call us, the Oregon Trail generation. Like, you know, we grew up with technology. We get it. We had AOL Instant Messenger. We had email. But like, if you made plans back in the day to meet someone at 7 p.m. and they weren't there, like, that's it. You got stood up. Like, unless there's a payphone and they're one of those cool kids that had a pager, like, you're going home. None of this, like, I'll be there in 5 minutes, my Uber's late, like, get out of there, going home. Gen X, like, give it up for Gen X. We never talk about Gen X. Yes, we can give a hand, yes. Born 1965 to 1980, often tasked with the brutal responsibility of managing young people. Between millennials and Gen Z, they now make up over 50% of the workforce. Some studies show that in the next 5 to 10 years, because so many baby boomers are retiring, they're going to make up as much as 65 or 70% of the workforce. We have baby boomers, and I think a lot of times people say, oh, baby boomers, they're out the door. It's like, nope, they're still working, and we need to make sure that we celebrate their wisdom, their insight. And we increasingly have people from the silent generation working longer and longer into their lives because out of financial necessity or because they love their work. So we have to create a culture of engagement and belonging that works for everyone, for everyone. I think it is important to focus in a little bit on this next generation, both in terms of next-gen advisors and next-gen investors. Again, iGen. So this is a generation that with 2 clicks can get food, a hotel, right? A date, and then they get to the workplace and suddenly it's like, you mean I can't just swipe right and find meaningful work? I can't just swipe right and get a promotion? It's your 3rd day, you're not getting a promotion. Like, I should change my title, I think. It's like, you've been here 2 weeks. No. However, they're getting, you know, if we're trying to attract next-gen talent, we say, hey, we'll get back to you in 3 weeks. Thanks for the resume. You filled it out on this, like, you know, auto form. We'll get back to you in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? The average young person doesn't remember what happened 2 minutes ago. The average attention span, if you have young children, you'll appreciate this, of a teenager is 20 seconds. 20 seconds. 3 hours a day on TikTok, 20 seconds. Definitely a correlation there. So we have to, when we think about attracting next-gen talent, we have to be timely, fast, digital. It has to be personalized. It has to be about that person. It doesn't mean we hire someone in 20 seconds or 2 hours, but we get back to them. We start that conversation. It feels personal. Hybrid work, not just traditional schedule or title. So sometimes this means being able to work from anywhere, at least not go into the office all the time. Sometimes, but that's not really what flexibility means anymore. It's more about empowerment, autonomy, giving people the flexibility to decide who they are at work. Have a little bit more agency in terms of the projects they're working on, what they're all about. A true commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. According to the Pew Research Center, 50% of Gen Z, 50% identifies as a person of color. 50%. 20% identifies as queer. And then these folks get to the workplace, and they do not see that diversity reflected among their employees, or certainly among their leadership or their boards, and they start to kind of ask questions. And not just like, hey, something's wrong here, but they're actually like, hey, how do we move forward? How do we hold you accountable? How do we move forward on this? So this is something that is not going away. Personal and professional success. I think it used to be that we expected our careers to definitely provide that professional success. The skills building, the networking, the training, the mentoring, the guidance, building up, kind of rising up that corporate ladder, getting a raise, moving up and up and up in your career. Now it's a little bit more about the personal growth, navigating the tipsy-topsy unknown world that we're living in. And I think if we put ourselves in the shoes of these young people for a second, just think about the world that they've experienced in the last 5 to 10 years, right? With the pandemic, all this economic uncertainty, they want that personal sense of how to be an adult, how to navigate these unknown waters.